Hey, everybody, let's go. Tuesday, my favorite day. We're gonna do some exciting stuff today. We're gonna do, a lot of experimentation. If you like to see me work through problems, because I have not tackled this yet. I am going to be experimenting with anchor positioning for a specific effect, but we're also gonna be doing some component architecture stuff. We're gonna be just playing around and trying to build something cool and seeing the thought process and the troubleshooting and the debugging all along the way. If you excuse me for just a moment, I had to completely obliterate my local install because there was some weird issue was going on, and I was like, is that a new issue or is that an instance issue? So I'm currently spinning that back up. And then we're gonna go ahead and get started. And before I share my screen, I just wanna pop in some of my API keys and things like that so we don't accidentally burn anything on the stream today. So you guys can, talk amongst yourselves in the chat. Also, the algorithm has to go collect everybody and bring them in, and then we will be ready to get started. I gotta put in my etch license key over here. Probably gotta put in my automatic CSS license key. Got to put in my AI license key because we're going to be using some AI today. Let's go with, what are we doing? ACSS, yeah, automatic CSS license key. Okay, we'll grab that. Save and activate. What's up, Curtis? What's up, Andrea? What's up, Stripe Goat? Say hi when you arrive. Oh, I didn't mean to. Hold on. We don't want to be zooming all this stuff. Can I lock this? Let me lock this. Lock overlay. Yeah, we don't want to be zooming in on that. Okay. Tuning in from Kentucky. Well, welcome. Glad to see you here. All right, let's go into Etch and let's delete a bunch of nonsense that we don't need from Gutenberg. Let's go into ACSS. No, that's good. Let's go into Etch settings. We want to allow custom font uploads. We want to enable AI. We want to put in our AI API key. Open AI, grab that. We want to put that in. We want to save. Perfect. Experimental component editor V2 we will turn on so people can start to see some of the new component editor. It's getting a little bit of a facelift, not really for any particular reason other than saving space, recapturing some UI real estate, but also prepping for the expansion of prop functionality. We're in the process right now this week of creating a repeater prop. Really, the group prop will just be able to be a repeater, I guess. And then we'll be doing some logic stuff. So the ability to show and hide props based on the value of other props will be a very big enhancement to the component editor as well. What's up, Zach? What's up, Sylvia and Alan and Andrew and Suzanne? This is fantastic. We got very low viewership today, Normally we're in the 150s. We're what, like 50 right now? Maybe building things, maybe just live experimenting building things is not super popular these days. I don't know. If I'm not glazing some sort of AI model, maybe it's hard to get attention these days if you're not just absolutely glazing every AI model in existence, Could be. We're gonna have to go through a period of that, I think, before things settle back to baseline, right? A lot of glazing going on right now. Okay, I think my APIs are in. I think all my keys are in. I think we might be safe to share. Let's go ahead and let's get to the main share. Here we go. Okay, I want to be cognizant that I am covering the AI chat a bit. I'm hopefully that's not going to become too big of a problem. I'll try, maybe for the stream, I'll put it over here. I don't know. Okay. So let me show you what we're going to be building today. So there's this pricing grid. This is pricing section. And it's a very popular one because it has this nice effect where the background, like the highlighted box card effect, actually slides with the hover, right? So whichever one I'm hovering on kind of gets the boxed card effect. This was done with a lot of math, a lot of old school CSS. It's very breakable. It's very fragile, I should say, you know? It's really dependent on knowing like the number of cards and the cards being in the grid. You know, I don't think if like on mobile, yeah, it's like completely gone. You've completely lost the effect on mobile because it would require all new math and all new shenanigans. And so this kind of effect is achievable with old school CSS, but there's a better way to achieve it now, I believe, and that is with anchor positioning. And that's what we are going to explore doing. So, you know, the purpose of the stream is not just to create this effect with anchor positioning, but, you know, we're going to go through the whole process. Like, let's go through the process of creating the section and creating the card. Let's see, how would we architect this card with the understanding that it is we want it to be a component. You know, we want it to be a component, yet we still want it to be flexible. We still want it to behave in this fashion. Okay, so, you know, a lot of thinking, a lot of architecting, a lot of troubleshooting is probably going to go into the stream. I am told, however, that a lot of people do like to see the troubleshooting side of things. They like to see, you know, like what happens when the guy gets stuck. You know, what do we do? What paths do we go down? How do we get unstuck? How do we unstuck ourselves? So there should be a lot of that in today's stream. It's been probably, when did I build this? January of 2024. So over 2 years ago, I built this, and I have no idea. I don't remember anything about it. I just remember this effect with old school CSS is quite the pain in the ass. So we'll see if it's any easier with the new methods, okay? With the new techniques. Let me put my chat over here so I can see it. I think it would help if you post it in Circle when you go live. Yeah, I think so too. Maybe I should spin up some sort of automation that notifies everybody, you know? I could do that. I could spend hours, you know, crafting, get some LLM to craft some automation to notify everybody the minute I'm live. That would be good, you know? And then I could do a video on it. How I built an API in 17 minutes that with Claude, you know, that notifies all of my followers and gets my viewership up 758%. I could very, you know, that's what every other YouTuber would probably do. Yeah, that's what you got to do these days to get the views. Something involving glazing AI and automation will get you the views today. What's up, Charis? Tighten up, Rob. I'm at NPR and ECU watching on 5 projector screens. Wow. Okay. All right. Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. Are we ready to build? Let's get an LFG in the chat and let's see. Yeah. See, I love building things too. You know, this is fun. We don't want to, you know, I don't like the idea of turning everything over to the agents. You know, I like to craft some things sometimes. I like to solve some problems myself from time to time. I like to feel like a valuable, you know, component in this team, so to speak. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. We are going to call this pricing grid mic. This is going to be section intro. And I'm just going to call this pricing section mic. Okay, good. So in our section intro, I'm not going to bother building a whole section intro component. I think you guys have seen that enough. You've seen that before. You know what? I don't like this system font. We're gonna go ahead. I like things to be a little pretty, you know, when you're working on them. Let's go to typography fonts. Okay, we don't have anything going for us today. All right, so this is a brand new install. I like literally just spun this up. Let's see if I can go get some font files. Let's go here. All right, we want enter and WAF2 and enter variable TTF. I mean, you know, does it really have to be? Let's do, you know, people do want to see how do you do variable fonts in ACSS. You know, this isn't going to be optimized by any stretch of the 'Can't be processed by the web server. Well, I thought I turned on Let's go to general, allow custom font uploads. Did I never maybe I never refreshed after I turned that on. All right, let's go back. Let's see again. Can we upload enter variable.ttf? Yes, we can. Okay, copy URL. Let's go back to ACSS typography fonts, and we're just gonna say enter. And you do variable, choose variable right here. You give it the file path. You say that this is going to be a true type font. We'll say that this is going to be normal, and we'll go swap and font stretch, fine. This should all be fine. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna hop over to the headings and the text area, and we're just going to put in enter right here. And we're gonna do that here as well. So if both of these are enter, we're now using enter everywhere, and voila! Just like that, you have custom fonts in your project, and you can do every weight and all of that because this is a nice variable font. But yeah, that's all it takes to do variable fonts with automatic CSS. Greetings, visual grid. Okay, got a lot of LFGs. We're ready to go. You can ask questions, hashtag queue them. Okay, so this is gonna be a section intro. We'll make this nice and simple. Section intro. I could have probably just auto BIM this. Probably would be the best bet, right? Create BIM classes. Okay. Let's go ahead and say. Let's talk about a little follow-up for Page Building 101. We could talk about mobile first versus desktop first. I want to center this introduction, right? I want to center this introduction. I only want to center it on certain device sizes and up because that's way more efficient than centering it now and then uncentering it back later, right? Because if we go down on mobile, this is already to the left. Like I want things to be to the left. The question is, where do I want them to go left? And we'll just pick let's just say 750. And so what I'm actually gonna do with this is I may go to the style manager, custom media definitions, and I may decide to make a custom media rule for when everything is supposed to shift left so I can just reference this thing all over the place, okay? The thing is nobody's able to do this yet on the internet. So there's really no customs. There's really no conventions. There's really no decided upon naming rules for these things. I don't know what a good name is, but I have this idea that I want to create a custom media query that's only for the alignment of my content. When should things be left and when should things be not left? And for right now, I'm just going to say, not left. Right? So at not left, let's do whatever we want that's not left, okay? And we're gonna use that in a mobile first query. Is that a good name? I don't know. But let's do 750 pixels. Okay, so we have custom media not left, looking for a width of greater than 750. So greater than 750, we can actually do greater or equal. So greater or equal to 750, shit won't be left, okay? Won't be left. We can decide on names together later, okay? So if I come down here and I say media query and I just replace all of this, right? Okay, so not left, so media not left, and then we can do something like text align center. Now everything goes to the center. So I have one rule, media not left. We're gonna text align everything to the center. And now we come down and look, it's gonna be left when it's under 750, but when it's above 750 or equal to 750, it will in fact be not left, okay? All right, are we tracking? Are we tracking so far? That's a fairly simple rule. And now everywhere I need to use this rule, okay? Make shit not left here. I just write this right here, okay? Very simple, very straightforward. Glad to see how to use variable fonts. Yep, yeah, super easy, super easy. Demo dividers vertical between text or divs, please. I did a whole video training on that, so I would recommend going to watch that so we don't have to really rehash it here. Okay, so choose your plan, all right? Choose a pricing plan that works best for you, okay? At the end of the day, it's just money. There you go. That's it. Okay. Fantastic. This is award-winning copy. How to make the sections colors fade away with each other so that we can't see the separation between the sections. You mean like one section's background fading into another section's background? Okay. I mean, we might be able to tackle that. Pricing grid, Mike. Let's throw a div. We want pricing card, Mike. Okay. Now in pricing card, Mike, we're going to be having, maybe, let me see if my boxes, can I get my boxes on the screen? There we go. Okay. Let's go with boxes. So obviously we have like the card. Okay. And what I'm thinking is we might have a header. We might have a body. And we might have a footer, okay? And then we have your icon, we have your heading or the plan name, plan name. Pricing, which is gonna be a bunch of little boxes. Okay? We'll see how to do that. And then inside the body, we're gonna have just a paragraph, a description. And then we're gonna need another box for this list and another box for a list item. And then of course you have your icon and your text, your label, okay? We've got our button in here. So this is kind of the general structure that I'm thinking of right now. We're just gonna build the card. This little border, hover effect thing is not actually part of the card. That's the secret. It has really nothing to do with the card. It's like a separate entity. You like that? Entity? It's like a little entity. Caught me out again, I'm late. Yeah, watching all the way from Ghana in Africa. Well, I'm glad to have you, Agency WP, Y1M. All right. If you have any saucy language, I might be able to get kicked out of here being at university. What do kids get easily? Yeah, you might want to put the earmuffs on. If you got any earmuffs in the bag, maybe put those on. We don't know what we're gonna get into. It depends on how frustrating this ends up being. Trying to get this effect to work. But we have pricing card Mike. Now the other problem we might look into is what does happen on mobile here. Okay, so the layout doesn't really change. So I don't think we're gonna really need a container query here. But what happens if there's one plan? Like if you wanna use this card by itself, there's only one plan, I don't think it should be really that wide. So that might be a thing we look into solving. But let's go ahead and add our 3 divs. All right, so we talked about having a header. We talked about having a body. And we talked about having a footer. Okay, so see how I'm grouping these things together. Now, in our body, we talked about having a description, so a little paragraph. And then we talked about having a list. And so I'm going to put in an unordered list. And that's gonna give me my list right there. And these are going to be the features, okay? And we'll just say feature list. And then we'll say feature list item. Now the thing is inside of this list item, I may have an icon. I believe we need an icon in there. So the question is, how do I want to do this? Typically what I do is I use a masking technique. I don't use an actual icon element. I use a masking technique and a pseudo element for the icon, and then it can be switched, flipped between like included or excluded based on a data attribute. I've shown this before. It's typically the most flexible way to do it. So that's probably what I'm gonna go with. The question is, do we need this list item text to be in a span? I don't think we do, at least not at this time. So we'll leave it to be the way that it is now. So we have the feature list and we have the feature list item. This is going to be the description. This inside the header, we are going to need a physical icon, and then we are going to need a heading, and then we are going to need the price, okay? How do we want to do the price? It's going to be one paragraph, I think, with a bunch of spans, okay? So this is going to be the plan name. Why do I feel like this is not enter? Is it, let's see, inspect, computed, font family, enter. Maybe I just look at enter too much. Maybe I'm just too used to it. Okay, whatever. Maybe I need to tighten it up a little bit. Let's go to headings. Yeah. Let's go letter spacing minus 0.025. Can I, geez, I have the fattest freaking fingers today. Okay, yeah, let's just tighten it up a little bit maybe. Okay, it's looking a little spaced out. I don't know. All right, so this is gonna be gold plan. There you go. All right, this is gonna be our heading tag. This is the price. Okay, and I'm gonna go with, so let's think about this. We want currency, we want the actual price, we want the term. Currency, price, term. So I need to insert a span, and I'm gonna duplicate that span 2 more times. So this is gonna be the currency span. This is going to be the price span, or I'll say the amount. Okay, so we have currency, and I'm just gonna say price currency and price amount. Now, why am I, let's do a pop quiz. Why am I repeating the word price? We could just do currency, amount, and whatever else, term, but I'm just gonna do price term. Okay, so I have price currency, price amount, price term. Pop quiz, why did I do it that way? Why did I do it that way? Now, in our span text down here, we can just come in and we can put like a $sign, and then we could put like an amount, and then we could put a term, okay? Like MO for month, okay? And I broke my span, so let's try not to break. You don't wanna break your spans, okay? Span, there you go. You don't wanna break your spans. Let's put an MO here. All right, let's check the pop quiz results. Aaron looks like he gets the 1,000 points to Aaron. It is for BIM organizational purposes. That is correct. Okay, good job, class. Good job. Is this an unnecessary span? Price, term. Okay. Yeah, this was the MO right there. Perfect. Okay. So I like what I see here. Description is good. Feature list item is good. This is going to be feature 1. And then we'll just duplicate this, bang, bang, and we'll make this feature number 2, and this will be feature number 3. Fantastic. Okay, let's go to the huge icons library. And I'm not signed in, really? You know, we don't have cookies these days. I mark every cookie consent notice imaginable, and I still find myself not logged in. You know, what's the point? All right, let's go to icons, and let's choose some generic icons. What would be good? We just need 3 icons that look fairly similar. Maybe like a progression. I think I was using like eggs. Okay, let's do eggs. So let's do an empty egg. We'll do an empty egg. Let's download this. All right, and let's go with, well, hold on. Let's make them all in the same damn library. All right, stroke rounded. Yeah, let's do these. Okay. All right, well, we can do, did I just do this one? No, okay. So standard, and let's do double. Gotta have the double eggs, you know? And gotta have the fried egg. So let's do that as well. Okay, so we got some icons in the mix here. Let's go ahead and drop one in. Now, again, we have to architect this as a component at some point, okay? So here's the gold plan. All right, single egg plan. All right, we want a single egg, $99 a month. All right, what else do we need? In our footer, we need an anchor. All right, so let's do a link, bam. On our link, we'll just drop a button primary, and great, fantastic. Oh no, I actually agree with Ruben. That's not good. What's Ruben say here? What's Ruben say here? Ruben. Judge. All right. I don't know. Oh yeah. AI would have built this already. Prompt better. Yeah, it would have built some, you know, passable dog shit, I guess, probably. I don't know. I would challenge you. Try to get AI to do, you know, what I've asked it, what we're trying to do here, which is, listen, AI doesn't even know, probably doesn't even know, you know, all that much about anchor positioning. It probably doesn't have a lot of code examples to use. So I'm not sure how good its output would be trying to do what we're trying to do, because I am more trained, than the AI is at this point. It's okay. It's all right. Don't feed the trolls. All right, let's save here. I think we're ready this is gonna be the CTA. I think I've named everything. We're ready to, let's go plan icon, plan name, plan icon. We got our header. I think we're good to go here. I think we're right click, just create the BEM classes. Let's move on with our life. Okay, pricing card mic, we're gonna get some padding going. Let's go with space M for right now. Let's do a little bit of a flex column. Let's do a little bit of a content gap. We don't have card, we don't have the card framework turned on. Let's go to cards and let's turn that on. Let's save, perfect. And let's save down here and let's just refresh right quick. And let's see if we have our card options available. There it is, card gap. We want content to be the default, but we will take a little card gap right here. Okay, in the header, we're also gonna go display flex. We're also gonna do a little bit of a card gap there. And then we're gonna go into our body, we're gonna display flex, and we're gonna again do a little bit of card gap there. And then in our feature list, we will also go with a little flex, and we will also go with a little card gap. Now, you could use inherit on that kind of stuff, but it's easy to click some buttons too, Okay, this needs some lorem. So we're gonna say maybe lorem 20, get a little description text in there. And we're gonna build the light version of this. And then, the dark will just be dark if we wanna use color scheme and whatnot. Okay, so we can close this. We can close this now. Let's go back and see what we need to do. So we need to style the header up here. Our plan name is gonna be probably an H3. We need to make sure that we're not going crazy with that right now. Let's get the price going, $12.99 a month. So what we're gonna do, any of the shared styles for this go on the actual paragraph, the price, okay? And then if we wanna do styles on individual things, that's why we have the spans. The spans are exactly for that purpose. So now what we're gonna do, maybe choose, how about this? Like choose the H3 size. I mean, we could also do just text, text size, like text L or whatnot. So that looks good there. I'm thinking, okay, the dollar sign's the same size. It's the per month that needs to be smaller, okay? So if we do font size, we can do something as easy as like 50%, 60%, 70%, something like that. So it's always nice and relative. You don't often see percentages used for font size, but this is, potentially a good use of this. It's like, hey, the paragraph is a certain size. This per month, this badge thing right here, the term, just needs to be a percentage of that, So as the whole thing gets bigger or smaller, it just adjusts accordingly. But what we can do also, if you want to ever set a minimum, you can use a max function where you say, hey, 70% or text S, right? Where it's essentially saying, okay, like be 70%, but never be smaller than text S. Like don't go crazy. If the price gets too small, you can't keep going smaller. It's still gotta be readable. So let's cap it at text S. Now, if you realize here, you're like, well, hold on, how did you set a minimum using a max function? That's fucking confusing. I understand, I get it. It is confusing. The max function chooses the largest option, which effectively sets a minimum. If it's ever choosing the smallest, that's because that's, not the max, okay? It's defaulting to this, which is effectively capping how small something can be. Okay, and then the min function is the opposite, okay? If you want to cap a maximum size, you use the min function. Say, I don't want it to ever be bigger than this, use a min function. Now it only works when you have a relative value and a static value, okay? So you can't put two relative values in here, that doesn't make any sense. All right, so we got that good. That's looking nice. I do think on here, I want the line height to be like 1. We don't need to go crazy with our line height. And I'm going to show you how we can use maybe a flex row situation, maybe an align end situation, and then maybe a gap situation. And in this case, we will again reach into our bag and say, how do I want to gap this text? maybe I say something like 0.25 characters or 0.15 characters. So we can use the character unit for, get this, spacing out characters, okay? And remember, it's putting the actual gap between my spans, okay? Because this is kind of a special situation, you know, this price where we've got a $ and all this other stuff. I might just go 0.1 gap, 0.1 characters. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our little month term badge and we're gonna say, okay, we're gonna do a before pseudo element here, and the content is going to be a /, okay? And it's going to automatically, so we don't have to ever type the / in, it's just going to add it for us. Nice and easy, okay? Perfect, perfect, perfect. Now, watch this. If I want this to be XL, look at everything respond accordingly now, okay? Everything responds accordingly. It's very nice and flexible. And I actually think I like XL better. Okay, that all looks very good. Feature 1, feature 2, feature 3. I'm thinking now that I want maybe card gap times 1.5 for all of this. That probably looks a little bit better. And then you can even go margin block start. We can do something like space XS, and that'll just bump the button a little bit further away than everything else is kind of spaced out. Give it a little bit more rhythm, all right? And that should be nice. All right, let's just go ahead and just for visual purposes, you know, what happens if I duplicate pricing card mic here? And if I just create my pricing grid mic and go ahead and display that as a grid and do something like auto grid 3, and we'll just see how our pricing cards are coming along. They look pretty good. This plan icon, let's go ahead and say, inline size, maybe, well, we could use the H1 value. You could probably get away with that, okay? Aspect ratio of 1. Okay, that's pretty good, I think. That's pretty good. All right, so this is gonna be our double egg. This is gonna be our fried egg. All right, fried. I'm not gonna put all this in yet because we still have to make the component and all that nonsense. But I think we're looking fairly good. Fairly good. Let's go back here. Yes, let's handle the check marks. Let's handle the check marks. So we're gonna go to the list item and we're gonna give it a pseudo element, and the content is going to be just blank. And if you haven't seen me do this before, this is one of those areas where you should probably take some notes. You might want to mark a timestamp, you know, that kind of thing. This is something you will find yourself doing very, very, very often. It's a very handy little technique. It's a very handy little technique. And it starts by just getting a box on the screen. Can you get a red box to look like an icon? Just put a red box where the icon should live, okay? And so we do that by giving it some dimensions. Maybe just start with 1em, okay? Block size, also 1em. Let's give it a background of red. Let's give it a display of flex. Let's give it, and then let's go to the actual list item and hit just flex row on there. And I want to bump these to the top. Okay. So we're getting very, very, very close. We got our box in there. We can do a gap of 1 character. That's pretty good for spacing icons from their labels typically. And you see that the box is up toward the top. Now, centering the box vertically would be a mistake. You do not want to center the box vertically because when you have a multi-line list item, the icon alignment will look atrocious. What you want to do is you want to bump this box down and, you know, to align it essentially with the center of the first line. And the way that I typically do that is I do, we could do position, we could say relative, and then I can translate it, and I can say, which one's the x-axis? Okay, that's a 0. So there's a 1em, right? What if I did half EX, or 0.25 EX, or 0.35 EX? Somewhere around here is gonna be very eyeballed, close to perfection. Again, we're pulling more units out of the hat, out of the bag. What is an EX unit? So what I'm doing is I'm I need to know the height of this font, because if I change the font, how the font behaves with regard to line height and all that is dependent on the actual font file. EX is the height of, it's the X height of a character of that font. Okay, so if I do this based on EX, it tends to be a little bit more accurate in aligning things to the actual height of letters for that font, okay? Why don't you use text box trim for vertical line text to top of icon? Okay, well, I can answer that for you. We go to text box, or can I use text box trim? I think I'll just put trim in here. Trim start, trim end, string, JavaScript, text box trim, text, CSS text box. This is why, right here. Because it ain't fucking supported yet. Obviously it's in Safari and Chrome because those are the good boys of our era. And Firefox is the dystopian, special needs child of, no, I'm just joking. You get it. And I don't know why well, actually there is a good argument. Some people tell me, Kevin, I exclusively develop in Firefox. I exclusively develop. Now, you're either don't like yourself very much. Or, now some people do have a point here, okay? They say, I develop in the worst browser because then I immediately know when everything's broken, And so maybe they do have less problems. At the end of the day, maybe they have less problems because they saw them all along the way. Every problem you could possibly have, you will discover if you build in Firefox. I just personally can't take the developer experience. The inspector is atrocious. The Firefox inspector, no, just throw me off a bridge. Absolutely atrocious, can't stand it. So every time I have to go to the front end to inspect something, I'd have to switch to a different browser. Can't do it. And then, I feel like if you're using Firefox these days, you kind of deserve to have some things broken in your life, right? So why should I have to live that life? Why should I have to subject myself to that kind of experience just for people who literally opt in? Does Firefox ship with anything natively? Don't you have to choose Firefox? These people are choosing their own experience, guys. Why do I have to be a part of that? I don't want to. This is the modern day IE, okay? Why do I have to subject myself to this? That's all I'm saying. Okay? All right, let's get back to it. So what I need to do now, you take the red box and you do a magic trick. You do a magic trick where the red box becomes your icon. Now what we have to do is we have to go to huge icons and we have to go to, these are called ticks, by the way. If you're ever looking for a check mark and you think to yourself, I'm just gonna search for check mark, very often you will not see any check marks. You need to write the word tick and then you will see a bunch of check marks. We're gonna go ahead and, why didn't it remember? Again, how many cookie consent things do I do? And it never remembers my preferences. What's the point? Don't ask me. If you're not gonna remember my preferences, don't ask me. Rounded, no, I want this solid right here. Okay, so we're gonna do this tick mark. We're gonna grab this, all right? I am gonna call it a check icon. And then the X, if you're ever like, I need an X icon, it looks like an X, okay? It's not called an X, it is called a cross, okay? So we need a cross and you will find X's. And just, tips of the trade, all right? So we're gonna say X icon, like this. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go into media and we're gonna bring both of those things in. So bring your X, bring your check, and let's say use this media. Okay, copy the image URL, bang, bang, boom, bam, done. Now I'm gonna go to feature list and I'm gonna define the check icon. And it is going to be this URL. Hey, boom, 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 ba-doom, ba-doom, boom. Now I shouldn't use files for this because then it won't be shareable. I'm gonna need to convert these to data image syntax or whatever. But we'll do that in a minute. Let's just get it working and then we'll do that in a minute. So let's go to media, let's go to X, let's go to copy URL to clipboard, let's bring this in. Okay, so we're just gonna have to refactor this in a minute. Now we're gonna go to the actual list item, and what we're gonna say is background, instead of background red, we already have background. Instead of background red, we can say check icon, Bam. Then we do background size, and we say that that is cover. And then we do background repeat, and we say that is no repeat. And that should be all that we need. And now what you do, because you need the color. You need to be able to manipulate the color. Check this out. If I go color green, I do not have a green icon. All right, why did that break it? Why did that break it? Let's go color. Oh wait, hold on. Did we just do something that broke it? Check icon, background size cover, background repeat, no repeat. Do we need contain here? No, I broke something. I definitely broke something. What did I break? Cover, 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 inline size. Did I fat fingers somewhere? Background, background size, cover, background. Did it change on doing the, no. Why aren't you moving? Why aren't you moving? Background size, background, repeat. Okay, that does something. Background, repeat. Did I double something up? Did I typo something? What did we do? Oh, did I put another? Oh, gee, dude, look at the fatness of the fingers. Look at them go. I don't know what I did. So let's go get that out of here. Save. Let's refresh. I don't know what's going on. Let's go down here. Let's put those back in. Oh, yes, there it is. See? You just do things over and then you finally see. I had background size, apparently. All right, so we have our check icon. Now, I can't control the color. Let me go back to proving my point that if I wanted this to be hot pink, okay, the icon, in fact, would be not hot pink. It would not be hot pink. But here's the magic trick, okay? So here's where you reach into the hat, you pull out the rabbit, right? All right, here you go. You take the word background and you just go multi-cursor edit, mask. And then you zoom back out, okay? Did it work? Did it work? Mask repeat, mask size, mask image. Mask image, mask image, mask image. Oh, that's right. It needs the background color still, okay? So you go background, is hot pink, and now you have hot pink icons, right? It's essentially taking the shape of the icon that you gave it, and it's carving that out of that box that we had a minute ago. And so if the box is pink, the icon will be pink because all we're left with after the mask is the shape of the icon. And if you change this from check icon to X icon, you get X's. This is what I said, what makes this very, very, very flexible. And then this is just naturally kind of compatible with components because we can create props for swapping these icons out. You know, what do you want your check icon to be? What do you want your X icon to be or whatever? Okay, so that is good. That is nice. We don't want hot pink though. We probably just want primary, you know? Can we make them primary colored? There you go. We got primary icons. Look at this. It's coming along so nicely. All right, let me just look at chat real quick. Okay, good. We need Etch browser. Hey, we can only manage so many projects at once. We need competition, supporting competition on browser engines. Google is in a monopoly. Yeah, I think you're right, but you know, Firefox is not the solution. Okay. What do we want to do next? I'm gonna let you guys decide. Do we go hover effect or do we go component? We can make the card a component or we can go straight to hover effect. Let's see. I'm just curious, you know? What do people want? What do people want? I gotta wait my 20 seconds for the delay for the answers to arrive. I'm just gonna look these over while we do this. Okay, pretty good. We do have the repeater prop is coming. I saw something about a merge for the repeater prop, and I'm just wondering if it's there yet. I'm just wondering, maybe it's there. Maybe we can take a little look-see at it. Okay, there you go. This is the internet for you. The very first vote that comes in is for component. The very second vote that comes in is for hover. This is the internet. Welcome to the internet, where you can't make everybody happy. It's impossible. Okay, now the hover is taking over. Animate the tick, maybe. Animate the tick. What do you mean animate the tick? I don't know what you mean by animate the tick. All right, well, I mean, we don't have to wait all day. You know, this doesn't have to be an official poll or anything, but it looks like hover is winning. So maybe we should go to hovers. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, I believe, okay, this is just, again, I have never done this with anchor positioning. I have done it the old school way, but I've never done it with anchor positioning. I'm gonna start out by assuming that the first part of the approach is similar, where we need a pseudo element that is essentially inside, freely floating inside of the grid itself, okay? And so I'm gonna do a pseudo element on pricing grid Mike. We're gonna do a before with blank content, and we are gonna do a background of red. Just get a red box in there. We're gonna do an inset of 0, and then we're gonna position it absolute. Okay, and we see clearly now that it is flying outside of our grid. So on our grid, we need position relative. Now it is contained inside of the grid. I'm gonna say the border radius is radius, and yeah, okay, that looks all nice and good. I don't want the background to be red. I actually want it to be neutral, ultra light. There you go, just like that. I think we need a z-index maybe of -1, but we need an isolation of isolate up here. Okay, so now it takes up the entire thing. But what if the inline size was 33%? This is just for visualization purposes. See how it looks like it's part of the card? See how it looks like it is the card, okay? And now if you hovered that around, it would maybe slide itself around this grid and it would create the effect. Now the question is, we can't do anything with the size because we don't know the size of the card. We have that information is not available to us. I don't know the width of this card, and the width is going to be dependent on the device that it's happened to be viewed on, and yada, 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 yada. Well, here is where anchor positioning really comes and shines, right? Because I can define anchors, and if I anchor that thing to a thing, it will be the size of the thing. That's fantastic. At least in theory, that sounds like a plan, okay? So I am going to first, I'm gonna go to the card. You gotta go to pricing card Mike, and we are going to create, I believe it's just anchor name, and you define it like a variable, okay? But we're gonna say anchor name is card and use the double dash syntax. Now, I'm trying to think of the names, how I wanna engineer this with the names. So, okay, so I'm gonna say active card, and then we're gonna have a hovered card, but again, I don't know, because if you look at this grid, the card effect, right, is on the center card, or like you can choose what card gets the effect by default. And then the effect slides around once you start hovering. Now, I don't know if that requires 2 anchors, or I don't think it does. So anchor name active card. Okay, anchor name active card. Let's think about this. Anchor name active card. This is all of them are the active card. Okay, so I'm just gonna do this for right now. Let's do inth of type 2, okay? And give that an anchor name of active card, okay? And let's do our double dash. So I'm only giving the second card the anchor name for right now, let's see if we can get it to attach itself to the second card, okay? So now I'm gonna go over and I'm gonna go to the grid. This is interesting because the anchor names are defined on the children, and the pseudo element is essentially a sibling of the cards. But I think that's okay. I think that actually doesn't matter. But we're gonna find out. I got no fucking clue. We're working through this together. Okay, if we can request frame rebuilds, Can you convert feature Romeo? It's extremely useful and would aid the switch to Etch full time. Yeah, I mean, we could take away, or we could take a look. Sorry, we won't take away Romeo. We could take a look at Romeo, and see if that could be created. I'm sure it's not a problem. Okay, so I go to the before. Position art is already absolute. That's fine. I don't remember the property name. What's the property name? What's the property name for assigning an absolute element to an anchor in CSS? Actually, Mark would shoot me right now because I'm not using my talker. Okay, so let's start over. Okay, what's the property name for assigning an absolute element to an anchor? You know, when you're using the anchor name property, for example, you want to assign something to that anchor. What is the property name you need to use? Okay, well, let's go ahead and send it off here. Let's go ahead and send it. Oh, we actually have a RAG system now that I can use to maybe improve these results. I don't know. Let's go into cursor. Let's go into, I think there's a feature flag I have to turn on. Oh, you know what? I'm not gonna tell you guys what the feature flag is, because you'd start using my RAG system and then I'd get a bill or something. Okay, I'm gonna have to do that in secret. Do you mean which attribute on the target element should match the anchor's identifier ID, or do you have a specific Edge property attribute name in the editor? Okay. I have an anchor, and that is active card. I have an anchor active card. Okay. Anchor name active card. And I want to assign another element to that anchor. How would I do that? All right. Send. Let's just see. We're putting things to the test. We're putting the agent to the test. We're just doing a lot of experiment. Doing a lot of playing around today. Let's see what it spits back. I'm late to the party. I'm etching up just now. Okay, so the only thing is it might be too focused on etch documentation. Okay, give the target element an ID that matches the anchor name. Example, set the anchor to anchor name active card, or put the ID active card on the, yeah, that's not correct. Let's go to CSS anchor positioning. Let's go to, okay, so anchor scope, position area, position try. That's not what I want. None of this shit is what I want. Come on, man. Really? For real? Like anchor, okay. Anchor, position anchor name. I think this is what I want. Position anchor name. Okay, so position anchor is active card. Okay. And then inset is no longer a thing. So even though it's position absolute, you no longer use inset. You use one of the other special anchor properties, which is there an example? Like, are the days of code examples is just that not a thing anymore? Here we go. Left anchor, and use the anchor function. Okay. So left, we'll do left anchor left, left anchor left. We'll do top anchor top. Okay. That I feel like should have done, maybe inline size 100%, maybe block size of 100%. Oh, we're getting somewhere. I bet pricing card Mike just needs a little position relative. Position relative. Well, that did not help. Well, oh, no. Okay, yeah. Ooh. Hold on. Let's think about this. How are we going to manage the width? How does it know the width of the card? Maybe, hold on. All right, let's go back to try this. Maybe you have to do all of them. Right is anchor right. And bottom is anchor bottom. That didn't help. Okay. We are anchoring. Okay. It's just not the right size. Touchdown. Fucking Tom Brady in the back corner. Okay, look at that. You can't give it any dimensions. You just use the anchor function to position it on all corners, and it just is the right size. So that means if I go to pricing card Mike and say anchor it to 3, there's on 3, 2, 1. Oh, now just imagine that it's sliding around. Just use your imagination, boys and girls. Okay? All right. Now, oh shit. How about we just change this to hover? Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, now we go to pricing grid Mike, take our pseudo element. Let's just transition all 0.3 seconds. Wait a minute. Why does it only do it once? Hold on. Let's think about this. Let's go to the front end for a second. Whoa. Hold on. It's like intermittent. Oh, you know what? It's going to have to be there the whole time. Okay. All right. Hold on. We're making progress. Finally built a full site on Etch for a paid client this week. Everything was good. Just thinking we need a way to preview components since my juniors used what I created and they had trouble. I don't know what you mean by preview components, as in they can see how it looks before deciding to use it. We ended up taking screenshots, saving in Notion, so you can check in there, right? Yeah, that'll come. There'll be a visual component library for sure. Okay, so let's think about what we need to do here. Right now, we're only showing it on hover. But what I can also do is say inf of type 2, anchor name, active card. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, we're running into problems right out of the gate. So it does it perfectly between these two, but it never goes to the first one. But I bet if it started on the first one, it would do them on all of them, right? Right? Yeah. And then it's going to snap over there. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So how do you choose which one it goes on? Why won't it go backwards? Int of type 3 is the active card. Okay. I'm going to say maybe we need 2 anchor names. Do we go 2 anchor names with this? Would that help this situation? How do we want to do this? Position name, active, position anchor, active card. Okay. No, I don't think that would solve it. I'm trying to process. Now, let's ask Grok here, or Claude. Let's ask the Claudester. Okay, let's ask the Claudester. I'm gonna feed it this. Okay. And then I'm gonna feed it this. And then I'm going to say, is this, yeah, active type 3. Okay. I'm having a problem. Oh, let's talk to it. Okay. Int of type 2. Okay. I'm having a problem where the anchor starts on the second child, and then the hover kicks in on hover, obviously. But when it starts on the second child, it will never do the hover effect on the first child. It will hover everything from the second child and on, but it will never hover anything before the first child. Why would this be happening? See what we get. Okay, it's a specificity cascade issue. Both your inth of type 2 and hover rules set the same property, but when you hover the first card, the second card's rule still applies and it wins. Card 2 plus works. Okay, it comes after. The fix to remove the anchor name from card 2 when any card is hovered. You can do this at the container level. Okay, no. But I want the effect to be there by default on the featured card, and then the effect snaps in when people start hovering around. But the effect is there from the beginning, and I want to be able to choose the initial card that gets the effect by default. Right. The approach I gave you does handle that. Card 2 is still the default. Let me walk you through it. When nobody's hovering at all, pricing grid mic hover doesn't match, so the unset rule doesn't apply. Card 2 keeps its anchor name from inth of type 2, and the highlight sits there by default. The moment somebody hovers any card, the hover matches hover. So what did you change? Oh, anchor name. Oh, okay. Oh, you unset it. Okay, you unset it on hover. You unset it. Okay, so there's a more efficient way to do that. Pricing card mic not hover inth of type 3, inth of type 2. You lying son of a bitch. Oh, no. Okay. No, okay. So this is, yeah, wait a minute. Not hover. Not hover, inth of type 2, anchor name, active card. Okay, this should do the same thing. Okay, so, all right. So, why doesn't this work? You're back to 2 elements claiming the same anchor name and card 2 wins. The not hover on card 2 only removes its anchor name when card 2 itself is hovered. Oh. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So inth of type 2 gets active card, hover, and then I just nest that rule in here, and hover inth of type 2, anchor name is unset. Is that doesn't work either. Let me think about that. And hover and amp and hover amp inth of type 2 unset on hover inth of type 2 unset. Okay. What about this is wrong? Might just be a syntax error. Yeah, is that not what you did, dog? Isn't that what you did? Oh, it's on the grid. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Let's get rid of this. Okay, so on the grid, pricing grid mic, when you hover the grid, you want, okay, no, stop. This has to be nested still. We got to stick with our principles. Our principle is anything that happens to this thing needs to happen at this thing. So I say, pricing grid mic hover me. Pricing grid mic hover me. Anchor name unset. Okay, that does work, but that doesn't achieve what we wanted to achieve. What am I not? Pricing grid mic. Oh yeah. Me inth of type 2. Me inth of type 2. Me inth of type 2 anchor name unset. Maybe that needs to be the default rule. Maybe it needs to be in between. No, I still don't understand its logic. What is its logic trying to accomplish here? When you hover pricing grid mic, you unset the second card. And that does go in the middle. Pricing card Mike, int of type 2, anchor name active card, anchor name unset. Let's go back. Anchor name unset, active card, unset, active card. That seems like it should work. Lucky you're behind in the stream, bud. You're doing the, that should work. It compiles to pricing card Mike, nth of type 2. Yeah. I thought it should work. Same solution. Are you running into an issue with it? Yeah, it doesn't work. All right. Let's go to the front end just to verify that it's also not working on the front end. Yeah. Okay. So it does work to go, but it definitely just disappears from, okay. All right, so pricing card Mike hovers when you hover card 2. You need the hover rule to win on card 2 as well. Bump its specificity. Pricing card Mike, nth of type 2. Pricing card Mike hover and not hover, nth of type 2. Okay, let's switch that rule out and see if that helps at all. Oh, that's getting close. That's getting close. It, okay. That's close, but it breaks my transition effect. So essentially the pseudo element is sliding around inside of the grid because it has a transition on it, and it transitions from anchor to anchor to anchor. And with our current rule set, it always snaps when we get to card 2 and it breaks the transition effect. By the way, when everybody was like, this would be so quick with AI, as you see, not really. You know, it struggles. And it struggles because what we're trying to accomplish, okay, we could do the important on, okay, that's an interesting concept of just throwing an important in there. Right, makes sense. When you hover card 2, the anchor name is being removed by the unset rule and re-added by, okay. So yeah, yeah, if it's a specificity thing, we need to not do all these shenanigans. And we just need to say, hey, bro, just always follow this rule on hover. But I don't know that you can importantize anchor names. That's why I didn't do it initially. I don't know that that's an actual solution. Oh, that has the same problem. It never goes to number 1. And yeah, I mean, you could even put this in a where to kill its specificity. And I bet it's still not. It's still not. Okay. Okay. This still never transitions to the first child. Yeah. Okay. So it's not a specificity issue. Abandon the duplicate name approach. Instead, make sure only one element ever has the anchor name at any given time, but do it without the remove, re-add flicker on card 2, something like has at the container level. Pricing grid Mike has pricing card Mike hover, pricing card. Wait, that solves the same problem. Honestly, I think transition bringing the anchor swaps away back to card 2 might be an inherent limit. It's not a limitation. Okay. Transition delay, transition behavior allowed discrete on the pseudo element. No. I don't think so. Let's think about how we want to do this. Okay. Could this be done with 2 different anchor names where we have an anchor name for the initial state and then a separate anchor name for the hover state, or does that not make any sense? You have card 2 always on one anchor and then hover down on a different one, swap with anchor, the pseudo element reference. Position anchor, default card, active card. Okay, let's try that. Let's just give it a little try. My dyslexic brain can't walk through all those steps on its own. So I just have to do it and see if it breaks. Like I can't envision the end result of, I just have to go down the rabbit hole and find a dead rabbit and then, you know, come back out. So this is going to be the default card. This is going to be the active card. On hover, we have the, okay, so, oh, let's think about this. This shit's breaking my brain. Might have to do this. Anchor name, card. Okay, wouldn't we just have, no, okay, hold on. God, let's think about this. Where, okay, anchor name card. Holy smokes. This is breaking my brain. Anchor name card. Go to the grid. I think when you hover the grid, instead of hovering a card, I think, oh, I don't know. No, it's gotta be when you hover a card. Position anchor, active card, card, position anchor card. Yeah, it can't anchor itself to all instances of them, right? So it's anchoring itself to the last one currently. Anchor name card. Okay. Pricing card mic. Hover. And hover. Now this is totally breaking my brain. Okay, position anchor card. Position anchor card. Card. Let's go back to, let's simplify it. Okay, so it's never here. It's only here. I don't want to var wrap it. Okay. I mean, that would work perfect if it would just not break the damn transition. Maybe when because I'm over the grid right now. It's like, I feel like when I'm over the grid, I should also anchor position it as card. Like maybe you just do it in both scenarios. So it's not, because what's happening is, okay, let's just do this. If this was a gap of 0, it would never break. It's only going to break when I fall into the gap between the cards, because that's the point at which there's no more pseudo element, right? So let's think about when you hover the grid. Yeah. So pricing grid mic. When you hover pricing grid mic, when you hover pricing card mic, you just give it the anchor name. Is that all you do? You just give it the anchor name? Oh, no. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. Okay, maybe, well, I know one way to solve it is we don't have a gap. Maybe that's just the best way to solve it. It's just no gap. Like, I don't know. That looks pretty good. Let's do border. Now the question is, how do you get it? That's a little dark on the border. Go to borders and dividers, borders, 10. 10, save. That's better. Okay. I just have to go down rabbit holes. Yeah. I found a lot of dead rabbits in my work. A lot of dead rabbits. I got a graveyard of rabbits. This works fine if we don't have a gap. We shouldn't need a gap. Maybe gap is just not the way to go if you're trying to do this effect. Now, how do we have a default effect, though? How do we have a default effect? Let's try. Can we have a default effect? Pricing card mic. Inf child 2. Anchor name card. Okay. I don't understand why that's behaving that way. It's literally like you can only have it on the first one. Yeah, once you put it on all of them, it's stuck. It'll only do it on the ones after. And I don't know how to solve that. If we always have it on the first one, I mean, it's a limitation in like you can't choose which one to highlight. Still works. You just can't choose which one to feature as the initial thing. What if oh, that's shared styles. I was trying to fake it. Like we take all these same styles and we apply it to the featured card, and then we can remove it. I really don't want to have to duplicate these things. But we would need. Okay. Hold on. Stick with me for a second. Take these things and go down here and say before, bam. Is this right? Pricing grid mic? Yeah, I feel like that's correct. Okay. Position anchor card. We need to go to pricing card mic in child 1. Let's take that off. Okay, this still works. This is all good. Pricing grid mic. So instead of this now becomes shared styles of pricing card mic, inth child 2, before, and this needs its own styles. Can we do a border check? Am I targeting this correctly from here? Oh, what the fuck? What is that? Oh. Pricing card mic in child 2. Oh yeah, that's on the pseudo element. That's correct. Inset 0. Why? Position absolute, inset 0. This should only be on the inth child, inth of type. That shouldn't matter. Inth of type, pricing card, mic, inth of type. 2. Pricing card, mic. Is that not position relative? Oh. Position relative. Pricing grid mic. Okay, if this isn't here, we don't see anything. So I'm gonna say and not hover, not, hold on. Hover, not hover, pricing grid mic. Fuck it, from the top rope. From the top rope. He can't be stopped. The boy can't be stopped. Okay. Oh, it snaps. You son of a bitch. No, why are you snapping? Don't snap. Hold on. Is this fixable? Is the snap fixable? We're so close. I'll explain what happened in just a second. Just let me figure this out. The before pricing card. Okay. Hold on. This needs a transition too. Before pricing card 2. Before that. Oh, that already has a transition. What needs a transition? Oh, the before. No. Before pricing card mic. Oh, it's on the. Oh, it only snaps. You never see it snap if I go on there. Oh yeah, because it appears, okay. I don't know that that's going to be fixable. I don't know that that's going to be fixable. Because it's not really the same element, I feel like. It's not positioned the same. Not hover. Okay, we might be able to use the same logic though. We might be able to use the same logic. How long have we been doing this? Okay, we're still under 90 minutes. Okay. Okay. And before, pricing card mic in child 2 before. And not hover. Pricing card mic into 2. God, I love Etch's undo. Gotta love that. Gotta love that. That was meticulous, miraculous, whatever other words you want to use. Nth child 1, anchor name, card. Okay, so this is seamless. I was trying to think. Pricing grid, pricing card mic. On hover gets card. Anchor name, card. On hover gets card. On hover gets card. Yeah. I don't know. Since when do we have do and undo action? Bruh, you gotta keep up, bruh. It's been there for a few weeks. And it's the best you've ever seen, my friend. It is the best you've ever seen. It is the best in the land. The finest in the land. I'm just going to stick with this for right now. Let's componentize this thing. And then I will try to find a solution for... Now, the thing is, we need this entire card to be clickable. So that's another situation that we got to worry about right here. So I will say, let's just use, okay, clickable parent, focus parent, okay. Did that work? Did that work? Does will change or transition behavior allow discrete help at all here? I don't think so. We're having some sort of order issue with it. That's mainly what's going on. Begin clickable parent. Pricing card mic. I'm trying to figure out why clickable parent's not working. Pricing card mic. Here's your CTA. Should be working. Let's go here. There's the before pseudo element for it. It is in the correct spot. We're just not getting... Does it work and I'm just not seeing a pointer? Let's give it a destination. Google.com. Oh, wait, hold on. I just saw... Look at that. You see the little flash of the cursor? It's a z-index issue, I bet. I bet it's a z-index issue. Oh, z-index 10. What if we take off this z-index? What if we take off the isolate on the grid? Do we get a clickable card? Why do I delete things? You can just comment them out. More troubleshooting. Well, the focus parent works. And actually what we need now is to say pricing card mic is on hover and on focus visible. Let's do the same thing. So now that effect should, really, dog? Really? Oh, focus within. Maybe focus within. There it is. Now our focus, and actually I don't want the border. I actually don't want the border. I just want focus within. Focus width, focus color. Let's just set focus color to transparent. So we'll just say focus color transparent. Now we should, oh, look at us go. Look at us go. But you lose it on the first one because it's already focused, kinda. So there's really not a lot of indication there. Okay, I can do this. Oh, that's not gonna work. Okay, all right, that's fine, whatever. Okay, let's think about this. What was I about to do? Wasn't I about to do something important? I thought I was gonna do something important. Oh, clickable parent. Why? Oh, it does work. We're just not getting a cursor pointer for some reason. So, on hover, focus within. Just go cursor pointer. Okay, I think this is a browser issue. It's definitely, oh, well, hold on. No, that's right. I'm seeing google.com down in the bottom left. I think it's, okay, let's do this. Let's grab this. Let's kill Brave. Or let's go to Safari. I think it's just a Brave issue right here. Or it's my stream. Can I get, okay, let's find a real link somewhere. Okay, I think it's just my browser is not giving me pointers on anything. Oh, it's not. Look, it's my browser shit itself. Nothing gets a pointer. Why? Okay. So it's all this vibe coded stuff. I bet you the last iteration of Brave that I just upgraded to yesterday, probably vibe coded by some schmuck, by some prompt queen. Some prompt queen probably vibe coded a feature in Brave. I download the update. Now I don't have pointers on my cursors. It's probably what it is. No, it's not Brave. It's something in my operating system because it's happening across browsers. I don't know. Yeah. Okay, we got to make it a component, boys and girls. We got to make it a component. You believe it's Ecamm? No, it doesn't normally happen on Ecamm. I mean, it could be based on some, something lately. Let's get rid of the AI chat for a second. Let's go ahead and make this a component. Let's create the component. We are going to add some properties. We're going to add some groups. Maybe. We got a new group prop. How do we want to structure this? So we're going to say, do I have, okay, I think repeater is going to be an option on the group. Let me see if there's any features to download here. Nope. Okay. All right. So we can do like header, body, footer kind of situation. I don't know. No. Okay, I'll do a group called plan info. I'll do a group called, plan info wouldn't be a good name, would it? I'll do a group called features, maybe. I'll do a group called CTA, perhaps. Okay, so let's do a group called plan info, plan features, CTA, maybe. I don't know yet. I don't know. Just got to kind of work our way there. So in plan info, oh, I'm on the cord, dude. All right, text, plan name, plan price, plan term, plan currency. Let's go into plan features and go, so this is where we would want the repeater. This is where we would want the repeater. And it wouldn't be plan features, it would be plan feature, which would give you an icon and a select box. The select box would be the type, status, state maybe. Okay, feature. Like, how would you describe included or excluded, right? Feature status, I don't know. Okay, feature label. We can move those there. So this would be, included, excluded. All right. So there's your options for a feature status. Then you have the feature label, like, this is a feature. This is a feature, something like that. Okay, perfect. Now we have CTA. So this would be the button text, button link, and then you could probably do a button style, which would be a select, Or you could say button classes, okay? So button classes, you could say button link, and this would be button label. Button label, button link, button classes. Okay, and then this would be button primary by default. We could take the button primary off of right here, and we'll just say copy key, and we'll come in here and we'll paste that key in. Okay, great. We'll also copy the key on the button link, and we'll just paste that in there. Perfect. And while we're here, we'll just copy the key and we'll drop in the label. Okay. And then our button label will be call to action, or buy, choose this plan. Oh, can you reference a prop in another prop? I believe you can. So if we have something like plan name, and we have like single egg, right, as our default, and we just say, hey, that's going to be the plan name. Can I then take that key? Let's copy that key. Choose plan name. Choose plan name, button label. Can you do that? I thought you used to be able to do that. Can you not do that anymore? What's it outputting? Choose blank. I don't think it's I think you have to have brackets. Yeah, you have to have brackets. Maybe that's not working. Maybe it should definitely, like, we need that to be, that's a dope little self-reference. I could have swore. Okay, maybe you don't do it here. Maybe you don't do it here. Maybe you do it here. You just do it there. And then this could be like buy, choose, whatever. You do like buy, Okay, yeah, maybe we, Let's try it this way. When I use the component, I can do it, right? Surely I can do it. So buy, maybe I can't do it as the default value, but maybe when I'm using the component, no, I guess not. That would be nice to be able to do though, wouldn't it? I'll have to talk to the team about that. I could have swore we could have done we could do it at one point or another, you know? I mean, I could hard code it in there, but it'd be better if we could just use it as the value, you know? All right, let's put a pound sign there. Okay, so let's think now. Plan feature, plan info. How about we go another text for plan description? So this was the, we'll do plan description here. We'll do, okay, how about this? Let's go delete, delete, delete. Let's just add a group, and the group will be the price. And in the group, we're gonna go bang, 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 and we're gonna say currency, we're gonna say amount, and we're gonna say the term. Okay, this will be per month, this will be 99, this will be $, and then we'll just quickly map these up. So that's gonna go to, whoopsie daisy. Okay, props up, all right, save. Oh, I turned preview off. You don't wanna turn preview off. Okay, props.currency. Can I undo that? 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 I'm watching down here what I'm undoing and redoing. Term, month, 99, value. There you go. Okay, good. Currency, let's try that again. Currency, I wanna click there. You gotta be careful where you click. Amount, when you got all these little spans in here, and then term. Bam. Okay. Now get my preview going. Let's go view this on the front end. Perfect. 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 Okay. Pricing card, mic, edit component. This is going to be our plan description. So let's just grab all the, actually I can just target it and it should replace it. Good. Good, 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 good. And then we have a plan feature. And what we would do here is we would make this, because this is like a group, right? You would make this plan feature a repeater where it can be duplicated. And so the person could duplicate with as many features as they want to. But let's get the label in there. So there's your label right there. And let's get the status in there. Remember, we have included or excluded as the status. So we're gonna copy the key. We're gonna come to the feature item, list item right here. And we're gonna say data feature status is, and we will paste props dot, you know, whatever. And so what that's gonna do is that's gonna pass along, if we go into one of these cards and we go into the body, we go into the list item, it's gonna pass in the data feature status equals included right there. And that's gonna be fantastic, because then what I can do is I can go over to the feature list item and I can change the mask image, okay? So if I say feature, yeah, so pricing card, no, actually, no, it's on the list item. It's on the list item. So ampersand data feature status is excluded. We can change the mask image to the X icon. Okay, and then let's test this. So this feature is my awesome feature is excluded. Okay, that didn't work. So let's debug. Okay. So let's go into the body feature list. Excluded. Excluded. Guys, the fat fingers strike again. The fat fingers strike again. It's got to be excluded. Dead. Okay, did that fix it? Fat fingers are the bane of my existence. Excluded. Excluded. Okay, I think I got to exit and save the... Yeah. Got to resave it. Oh dear, what has happened? Holy smokes, what have we done here? Okay. Oh, I think I know. Let's go in here, data feature excluded before. Data feature excluded before. Feature data featured before. There we go. There we go. Opacity, 0.7. Oh, no. Hold on. Oh, I see what we need to do. Okay, take the before away, nest it. So we can do a bunch of things when it's excluded. We can change the mask icon of the before pseudo element, but we can change the opacity of the entire row. There we go. And we can say order 1, which will, bam, always put the excluded ones at the bottom. And what's that CSS property? What's that CSS property that changes the, makes the visual order? Where's Claude? Claude, get over here. What's the CSS property that makes the visual order match the DOM order, or the DOM order, like for accessibility purposes, we want the DOM order to match the visual order. What's the, it's a brand new CSS property, Claude. Reading flow, order, reading flow, yeah. What do I choose in a flex column? I think it's you just literally write flex column, flex visual. Of course, yeah. Let's just introduce new terms for no reason. Reading flow, flex visual. That goes on the actual column. It's, oh wait, hold on. I'm on a, okay, no, I don't want to be on this. I'm changing the order of the list item. This needs to be on the list itself. Reading flow, flex visual. Sweet, guys. If we had a repeater, you know how hard we would be cooking right now if we had a repeater? It's coming this week. The repeater is coming because then what I would be able to do is I would be able to come over here and I would be able to duplicate this plan feature. Bang, 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 and just make as many as I want. And then they would repeat in the card, and you know, that would just be amazing. It would be amazing. Okay. Well, I think we're winding this thing down. We're wrapping this thing up. I think we got everything that we needed. Are we missing anything? The icon. We're going to go to media and we're going to say plan icon. And we are going to select some media here. We'll do a little egg. Okay. And then we will map that to here. At which point this SVG, yes, becomes the, oh, I don't know if we want the source there. Do we? How do we want to do the plan? How do we want to handle the plan icon? Is that working? Hold on, let me think about this. Plan icon, what if we choose something other than the egg? Does it work? No. Egg stroke standard. Oh, maybe it just didn't map. Copy key, source. I'm trying to think about this because it's an SVG. It's got to be an SVG, right? Source, prop style plan icon. This is an X icon. Maybe we just need URL. URL. There it is. There we go. Okay, let's set it back to the egg. Okay, save. So now you can come in when you're using the component. Let's exit this. So I'm using the component. I'm like, hey, I want to choose a plan icon. Don't we have, where'd my downloads go? No, I don't want that. I don't want any of this. I want this. Where'd my downloads go? Let's go to desktop, downloads, fried egg. There we go. I can have my fried egg icon. All right, fantastic. Oh, you know, have you guys seen this? What you could do with the, I want button outline on here now. Bam, it's a button outline. And I want button neutral. Okay. Or I want, and I could take the outline off if I wanted to. I don't think the outline for button neutral is turned on. But we could do button primary, button outline like this. Oh, that makes it one class. Okay, you gotta add one at a time. Button primary and button outline. Button primary. We gotta work on that default behavior, I think. We gotta work that default behavior. But I can get whatever custom buttons I want. You can also write CSS for them now. That's what the class prop is fantastic. All right, I think we've pretty much done what we had wanted to achieve here. What I need to do is come back and show the repeater once the repeater prop is working. But I mean, this is that's pretty slick. And we learned some things along the way. Is anybody still watching this stream, by the way? Yeah, all right, we got pretty good. First need to fix the typo, yeah. Feature status has a typo in the options list. Got that fixed up. I think we learned a lot today. This was very beneficial. I got to go back and look at the chat. All right, let's go #Q. Do we have any interesting questions? I'm using Whisperflow. What's the difference between using inline size and width? Inline size is a logical property, and it works for when a site is going to be accessed with like right to left languages. So right to left, left to right is your like if you do a margin or padding and you say, hey, inline end instead of left. If you say left, it'll always be on the left. If you say inline end, it'll actually change its direction based on the reading direction of the language. So it's a lot more flexible. It's it's the new standard essentially. So now not everything though needs to be, logical properties. If literally you need shit on the left no matter what, then use left. But if you want it to respect language direction, then you need to use logical properties. How to make a review section expand when clicking on see more links so that if they want to see more reviews, the section expands, revealing another set of reviews and on and on and on and on and on. What you need is not a reveal effect. What you need is a effect called load more. It's usually done with Ajax. And yeah, so if you use like WP Grid Builder facets, they have a load more facet that automatically handles all of that for you. It is compatible with Etch, of course. That's the direction that I would go. How to add a Google Maps in Etch for a service area section. You can just embed the Google map. How to make sections colors fade away with each other so that we can see the separation between the sections. So depends on what you're doing. It depends on a lot of factors. Is it just one color going to another color? Do you know the colors ahead of time? Does it need to be a seamless effect? Is there a background image involved? Is there a background pattern involved? There's a lot. I need to see an example because the needs of the scenario are going to dictate the pathway that we take. There's a bunch of different pathways you can go down, and they all have different pros and cons. So you have to figure out what you're trying to achieve and then choose the right technique for the job. So if you show me an example, I can answer the question. If we're just talking in abstract fashion, I can't really answer the question. Is Happy File still the most recommended media library tweak organizer? No, I wouldn't say so. I mean, eventually with Etch, you're not going to need any of those. So Etch is going to natively be able to folderize images, tag images, do a bunch of media management stuff. It's all going to be native. Do these animations in beta already work with bricks? I think you're talking about the new effects library in automatic CSS right here. The on enter and on exit and then the hovers and everything else should work. The on visible will not work with bricks yet because I have to enqueue the intersection observer script in the bricks editor. But everything else should work. But on visible will work on the front end in bricks. But it will not work in the builder. So if you don't care about it working in the builder necessarily, then yes, you can use it. The next update, it should be working in the builder. So how does this work with your props in Gutenberg? I mean, we can check, we can take a look. So here's the pricing card in Gutenberg, and here are all of the exact same props. So, if Bev, you're doing this for Bev, she can come along and say, choose single egg, right? She can go to change the currency to something else if she wanted, or change the price to $1.99 per year, She could come up here and say that this is an included or excluded feature, right? Change that all the same. Feature text here, and then we have, did we do a plan description? Yeah, we did. This is the description of the plan. Now, obviously changing here, you see we have some, we need to make sure our footer is always aligned to the bottom. So we can actually save that here, go back into Etch, come to our footer in pricing card Mike and say footer and go, margin block start is already space XS. Let's try align self to end. Oh, that's gonna be on the wrong axis. I don't think we can justify self. I don't think. Nope. So margin block start would have to be auto. And then what we would do is on the body, we would change that margin block end to the 1em there, whatever for our spacing. That would be another way to solve it. So now you get to here. You can also decide if you want, I think, is the body flexing? No, the body's not going flex 1. You might want to go, depending on how you want the spacing. Okay, there's another, you could also use grid for this. Sorry, this would be auto. So depending on how you want the spacing to even itself out in shorter cards, there's a couple different options that we could do there. Okay, but if we hop back to the Gutenbergs, so we can make sure that's saved, hop back, okay. That all looks good. We had D description. We don't want D description. We just want description. So as you see, very easy, it's all done for you. The props automatically expose in Gutenberg, and Bev's life is naturally pretty easy. You even see the effect working perfectly in Gutenberg, Doesn't really get any easier. So for now, we don't have repeatable props, so the features are hard-coded in. No, there's two ways to handle it. Well, the repeater will be available this week, I believe. So, there is another way to handle it, but I shouldn't even bother explaining what that would be because it won't even matter after, this week. You'll just be able to do a repeater. That's just it. That's going to be the answer. So I'm intentionally leaving it the way that it is, kind of broken, so that when repeaters are available, I will jump on a video and go, hey guys, remember that card that I built? Remember how we talked about it needed a repeater? Well, watch this. And then I'll just fix it real quick and you'll see exactly how repeaters work. Okay. Any chance ACSS and frames will be exportable in the future to use for non-WP projects or an MCP to at least have AI rebuild them and fix the missing bricks? For non-WP, yeah, very likely. Not frames. I mean, guys, you don't even understand. Like, the frames, it's not gonna be necessary at the end of the day. Even the patterns library that I'm building right now, I mean, yeah, if you see one you like, you just copy click it, it already exists. But literally what we're about to show you guys in the very near future, layout, it's not a good day to be a layout pack. Let's just say that. Like, if you're a layout pack, it's just, this is not your era. Okay, this is not your era. These libraries, the layout packs, templates, they don't have a long lifespan. Because what we're about to show you soon is you're just going to be like, holy, I can just do that? Really? I can just do that? Yeah. Yeah. You know, the game is changing. The game is changing. You plan on doing any website reviews? I love those for business tips. Yeah, we need to get back to doing that. You know, do you have any you want to submit, Tyree? If you guys want to send me any, you absolutely can. I don't think the page on my website exists anymore, but I'm happy to do them. I just need people to submit ones that they want to see done. What about F4F? Figma is still very much applicable, viable, like any design tool. The thing is you're not going to need converters. You know, everybody is like, oh, I want a Figma to etch converter. I want a Figma to bricks converter. It's also a bad day to be a converter plugin. It's a bad day to be a converter plugin. Because there's a better way to do it. There's a better way to do it. And it's literally just kind of like it's just going to be, you know, seconds. It's just going to be like, it's almost going to be like, let me snap my fingers. Bam, like that. So maybe just imagine that what you are seeing in Figma. So somebody uses frames for Figma. They whip up a great layout in Figma. And imagine that you're just like, let me just snap my fingers. And there it is in Etch. Voila. You know? It's not going to be exactly like that, but the goal is that it's going to be very, very close to being like that. Very, very close to being like that. And you're not going to need a fancy converter plugin. You're not going to need much of anything except what's already there sitting in Etch. That's the goal anyway. That's the plan. You know, I don't want to hype it too much because it's not quite there. Okay. But that is the goal. It is a viable reality. I do have some Etch websites. I'll make sure they're Etch based. Yeah. I mean, they don't have to be Etch based, you know, but submit some URLs and we'll take a look. How much money do I need to put aside for the new idea? Dover, what do you think I am? Dover, what do you think? I just demand money for every new thing? Where's my Bernie?
I am once again asking for your financial support.
I'm not Bernie Sanders. Who do you think I am? Dover, you're not going to need any additional money, my friend. I mean, you maybe a little bit, but not necessarily to me. You know, not necessarily to me. I mean, it's not like it's free to do this work. It's not like it's free to do this stuff. But it's not going to be like there's no plugins to buy. There's no additional plugin to buy or you know, like all these people are trying to sell their converters, you know? You don't have to buy it. You don't have to buy the converter. It's in what you're probably maybe already paying for a little bit. I love that, dude. You like the, you know, they say I'm not a professional streamer. Who else can pull the Bernie just out of nowhere? Who else can pull Bernie out of nowhere in context? Your boy. It's gonna be very fun. I've been trying to tell people how much fun we're gonna have in Era 4. Because you guys haven't even seen the half of it. Literally the half of it. You know, there's a whole other half to Etch that nobody's ever seen or even heard of that can open the door for so much more fun. Now that other half will probably cost extra. It's got to. I think it has to. I mean, we're not a charity, you know. It doesn't say etch.org, okay? But it's one of those situations where you're going to literally be throwing the money. Like this, it's like I'm not, you know, I'm fully clothed, okay? But you will be, I believe, just throwing the money. If you want to tuck it in, you can. That's up to you. I don't, you know, it's fine. Whatever. But yeah, you know, people will be throwing some money. Because you're going to see it and you're going to be like, are you serious? That too? That can be our life too? I mean, that's the goal. Again, I don't want to hype it too much because it hasn't come to fruition yet. But we have visions and we have We have lofty ideas, and things are they can be very, very, very fun, very fun. And this is not you will not have this kind of fun in era 3. Era 3, this might as well be the boomer era. It's not a lot of fun happening in era 3. Very stuffy in era 3, very pearl clutchy in era 3. You don't want to live the era 3 life anymore. You got to retire from era 3, join era 4. By the way, before we leave, let's just make sure everybody's on the same page with this. Okay? Go to etchwp.com/pricing, go to LTD, and this plan right here will be gone after March 31st. This plan right here will be gone after March 31st. These two plans right here, these will no longer be offered after March 31st. So if you were hoping to get one of these, now this one will still be available. Agency Elite will still be available. It will be the only LTD. Now here's the kicker. Let's say you don't have $1,299 right now. You can buy one of these before they expire, and then when you scrape together some more dollars, doing the OnlyFans, or you're at the club after hours, whatever you guys do, okay? I don't know. I don't judge. Not here to judge. You scrape together some extra money, you can always upgrade to this one from these, okay? But these two right here will be gone after March 31st. So I would encourage you, to, at minimum, if you're not on board yet, get on board with one of these two plans. And then you can always decide if you want to upgrade to this one later. But these will be gone after March 31st. Okay? I know a lot of people, look, the game is changing. Maybe you were doing brochure sites and now all your clients are one-shotting it with Claude. And you're still working on getting the higher caliber clients that are actually paying real developers to do their work. And you've had to do the OnlyFans thing. I understand. I'm not going to judge you, okay? But by the way, also we are in a bit of a global recession. Not everybody's got what I'm trying to say. Not everybody's got $1,299. So you might need to do one of these two lower ones and then jump to this one later. I just wanted you to have fair warning that these two lower ones are gone after March 31st. Okay. I know that it can do the layouts, but what about patterns that require JS for interactions and other similar complications? Well, that's the whole point, right? We have AI inside of Etch where you have a starter thing, you have the bones of what you want, and then you're able to tell it, hey, like literally you're going to be able to feed it the context of pricing card Mike, and you're going to be able to say things like, hey, I want to add XYZ effect on hover or whatever, and it can add it for you. By the way, the Etch AI, keep in mind, is going to be trained on the component architecture. It will be able to create props for you. It will be able to map those props. It will be able to rename props, rename structure panel. It will be able to create loops for you in the loop manager. It will be able to output loops in the code. It will be trained on every inch of Etch. So all the things that you want and need to be able to do, it's not just going to be able to replicate simple patterns using BIM, using proper, semantic HTML. It will be able to do like this stuff that you're seeing here. It will know how to do all of this stuff. So it can write props, map props, group props, say, hey, I'm going to need to have a repeater. Okay. It'll make a repeater for you. It's going to be able to do all the things. It's going to continue to get smarter and smarter and smarter and more and more and more capable, right? That is the goal. But that comes with that, there is an angle that comes with that that's just going to make templates and layout packs and pattern libraries and all that kind of mostly obsolete. Will I do anything? Well, that's the beauty. Andre, you can do your work to the extent that you want to do it, because it's a AI capable platform. It's not an AI first platform. It's not an AI only platform. It's not a vibe coding platform. It is a development platform. And so Just like if you were in Cursor building something and you want to write 70% of the code and you want AI to help you with 30%, you can do that. If you wanted to write 50% of the code and you write 50% of the code, you can do that. If you wanted to write 100% of the code and then you just validate everything, it'll do that. Like it's completely up to you. It's whatever level of power you want to give it, you know? Okay, I got to get out of here. I'll be back again next Tuesday. I will be back intermittently with a little short video, maybe on socials, to show you the repeater prop when that comes out. So I will be editing this card. I will be taking this section and converting it to use a repeater. And so look out for that. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the Etch community or the ACSS community or the Inner Circle. We do have an Inner Circle live stream this week. If you're not part of the Inner Circle, go to geary.co/inner circle. Get into the Inner Circle. We have a dev-only live stream. I'm all zoomed in. We have a dev-only live stream this week inside the Inner Circle that is for Inner Circle members only. And you can ask a whole bunch of dev questions and see more examples and demos and things like that.